Welcome back to the IBFP. Here's your host, Boxing New.
Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it. Will Deontay Wilder shock Tyson Fury in the Trilogy? And let's just dig into some recent interviews by Buddy McGirt. And you also look at a guy like Mike Tyson. Both of these guys saying that Deontay Wilder doesn't need a lot to come back and win the Trilogy against Tyson Too Fast Fury. And we break down these statements. Buddy McGirt basically stated that, Wilder doesn't need to do too much to fix, his flaws and his problem. He basically said, and I quote, "It's just little minor adjustments, nothing major. It's about Wilder's defense, just minor things that fighters tend to get away from. These are things I know can be corrected." He also stated he needs to use more of his athleticism. "I'm just going to keep my secrets to myself, but I'm going to tell you this. It's little things he needs adjustments on. He makes those adjustments. Nobody is beating Deontay Wilder." Now, this would employ the Wilder camp to reach out to Buddy McGirt to at least pick his brain and see what he's thinking, to see what they can do to help, because Buddy McGirt is a respected trainer. He's a very good trainer. And you know what? I don't think it hurts to bring in a guy who has vast knowledge of boxing. But, as of this moment, Deontay Wilder has not even looked in Buddy McGirt's direction. And then you see what Mike Tyson said on Instagram Live. He basically stated that Wilder, he didn't fight the same fight he fought in the first fight. The first fight, he fought with confidence, like he could win. The second fight, he fought like he had no zest, no life in him. I just don't think he was the same fighter after the first fight. He couldn't rise to that occasion again. In a follow-up statement, he actually stated that, he doesn't expect, Tyson Fury to dominate Deontay Wilder, but he said there's always a chance. Everyone has a chance. It just depends on how much they want to give it. If Wilder wants to dedicate his life to winning this fight, anything can happen. So, you see both of these guys still have somewhat confidence that Deontay Wilder can still win the Trilogy, while most people see that's a lost cause. Most people would favor Tyson Fury. I myself would pick Tyson Fury to win the Trilogy. I picked Tyson Fury to win the first two fights. I just think that when you got a guy with the high IQ level of Tyson Fury and a guy with Deontay Wilder's limited skill set, a guy who's not willing to evolve, a guy who's not willing to develop, a guy who's not willing to push the envelope to be better, who's already in his mid-30s, you're not thinking that this guy is going to be able to beat a guy who's constantly making adjustments, a guy who's constantly thinking. Because after all, boxing is a thinking man's sport. Let's be honest and unbiased. I mean, when you look at the first fight, and in reference to what Mike Tyson stated, you see that Tyson Fury, most people felt like he won that fight. Even Paulie Malignaggi, basically was stating that, hey, the judges were off. These guys should never work in boxing again. So was Lennox Lewis, and both of these guys are on the PBC side. They had no reason to take up for Tyson Fury in that manner unless they truly believed that, Tyson Fury was robbed out of one of the greatest comebacks in boxing history. But, Deontay Wilder got a few knockdowns in that fight. And the one thing I cannot stand about boxing fans that are just delusional is a knockdown does not mean you win a fight. A knockdown does not negate the previous 10 rounds that you've won. A knockdown is not enough to win a fight. If you've been getting beat and dominated the rest of the fight, it simply doesn't work that way. A lot of fans are under this delusion that a knockdown can win you way more rounds. And, you're not winning 6 rounds by getting one knockdown. It doesn't work that way. But let's be honest and unbiased. And so, when they say that Deontay Wilder didn't look the same, after the first Tyson Fury fight, that makes no sense to me. Because when you see Deontay Wilder after the first Fury fight, he ended up facing Dominic Breazeale, dominated him, stopped him, first round. Easy work. And then after that fight, he stopped Luis Ortiz, similar fashion, 6th, 7th round. I believe the 7th round. Easy work yet again. And I think the problem here had nothing to do with Deontay Wilder not looking the same. It was the fact that Deontay Wilder was the same. You have to understand that Deontay Wilder had not changed his styles, had not made any adjustments. He felt for what you call fool's gold. And the fool gold that he was thinking in his mind was that he was a great fighter. that he didn't need boxing skills, that he had no adjustments to make, and all he had to do was go in there and land a right hand on Tyson Fury. He didn't think that he needed to be defensively responsible. He didn't think he needed to tuck his chin and keep his hands up. He didn't think that he needed to work on body shots or a jab. He didn't think of anything other than coming out there and doing what he did the first time and expecting better results. And that is idiocy. The fact that Deontay Wilder did literally the same thing, and the reason why he didn't look the same, the reason why he wasn't the same wasn't because of anything Deontay Wilder did. It was because of what Tyson Fury did. See, Tyson Fury makes adjustment. He thinks. He pushes the envelope. He even got new trainers that allows him to sit down on his shots. He's a very big guy that stands at 6'9". If he sits down on his shots, if he brings the pressure in the fight to you, it's going to be very hard to keep a guy like that off of you. You have to have some type of boxing fundamental skills, some type of jab, some type of defense to negate some of that. He literally negated everything Deontay Wilder did that night. He took away his right hand. He went to his body. He sat on his chest. He basically took the soul of Deontay Wilder in that fight. And, I see the Trilogy being a very interesting fight. But, here's the problem. This is why I'm having a hard time even giving Wilder a chance in that fight. And everybody has a puncher's chance, so I would never take that away from Deontay Wilder. Everyone has a puncher's chance. But here's the reason why I have a hard time giving Wilder a chance, a big chance, or even a good chance in that fight against Tyson Fury, the Trilogy. It's simply because Deontay Wilder and his team are still in denial and still delusional about how they lost that fight. Doesn't matter how much time if you're not recognizing the flaws, the mistakes you made. You still see Deontay Wilder and his trainer blaming the extravagant suit that they wore out as to why they lost to Tyson Fury. That's not why you lost. Your lack of boxing IQ, fundamentals, and skills is why you lost that fight. But, if they can't realize that, then they have no chance of winning the Trilogy. Deontay Wilder is sticking with Jay Diaz. That makes no sense. This is a guy who's had you since you were young. You're in your mid-30s, and you've made no significant adjustments throughout your career to better your game. And the only thing that you've ever depended on is the right hand, which made you a one-trick pony and predictable for anyone at the elite level. Let's be honest and unbiased. The fact that Deontay Wilder's sticking with the same trainer, he's still blaming things like a suit as to why he lost this fight. The fact that, Deontay Wilder and his trainer still believe that they shouldn't have thrown in the towel, which could have possibly saved their life. At the end of the day, this is a dumbest thinking I've ever seen in the sport of boxing, and I expect the Trilogy to be another dominant performance from Tyson, Too Fast, Fury. But once again, unbiased as always, it's the IBFP.